This video, we're going to go through the steps to add the insert from front to our circular link list. I think some of you are still having problems going through the process. Okay, so there are two cases for this. There's the case that there are no other nodes there. Okay, then we have to add a node. And there's a case where there are other nodes, and there shouldn't be any other nodes. Any other thing that we care about. Okay, remember on the circular link list, we're keeping track of the tail because the tail next is equal to the head. Okay. So what I do, if I'm going to code this, and you see me do this in other videos, but hopefully this will make more sense. I'm going to go through, I'm going to go from a picture. I'm going to get the basic idea of what I'm setting in in text here, and then I'm going to copy it into my code. Okay. So in this case, we're going to create our new node as we always do. Okay. No difference there. Let's say we want to put a value 5. Okay. We're not going to do anything with this yet. Okay. And this is the link that we have. We have a tail pointer that points to nothing. Okay. So what we can do first off is that we can move the tail pointer and point it to new node. There's nothing else existing, so that should be okay. Okay, we've got the tail pointing to new node. Okay. And once we've done that, we can point, and this is hard to draw on this particular system, but we can point from the tail. Okay, so I'll go ahead and let me put this in here. Okay, so I've got the first thing I've got to do. I guess it doesn't have to be first, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to set tail equal to new node. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set that tail link is going to also be equal to new node. Okay. And those are the things I'm going to have to do in the code. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And now I'm going to go over to the server. And I've popped up. This is basically what you should have done in class. This just has those basic elements there. Okay. So I'm going to start, and some of you may be having some problems here as well. I'm going to start, and I'm going to look at the insert that we already have. Okay, so the insert is going to have some of the same elements that we need. Okay, so I'm going to go down to here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy the insert, and I'm going to copy the node type and the data. Okay, in fact, I can probably copy all this because it's going to be similar. Okay, so let's copy all that. Okay, I'm going to come down. This doesn't have the prototype, so I don't need any of the namespace stuff. Okay, so I'm going to call this insert front. Okay, insert at the front. I'm going to change my comment here. Okay, I'm still going to create a new node. Okay, I'm still going to set the new node to the value we're sending in. Okay, so if the tail's equal to null pointer, we know that it's the first node is an empty list. Okay, I'm going to do just what we did before for an insert, right? I'm going to let the tail be equal to the new node and the tail next be equal to tail. To convince yourself of that, I can go ahead and paste the code in that I did for my image. Tail's equal to new node, tail next. We're calling it next, sorry. Tail next is equal to oh, this is a difference. This one we want to say that there's no tail. Okay. So, oh, but it doesn't matter. These are totally the same because I've already set tail equal to new node. So I can tail and new node are the same thing by that point. So it's pointing back to itself. That's perfectly okay. Okay. So that's the same. No difference there at all. Okay. So that should have that ready. Okay. Then for the next part, the else means that we have more than one thing. Okay. So I'm gonna again gonna go back to a picture of this one. And if you think that you don't need pictures, you're probably wrong. I need pictures, and I've been doing this a long time. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and save and close that one. And I'm messing up my image here, but such is life. Okay. So here we have the insert at front. If we have a little bit bigger, if we have elements in our list already, the list isn't empty. Okay. So here's our existing list, 5, 3 to 2, 9. The next go there. Okay. The tail points to the last one. The tail next points to the first node. This is the head node. I mean, when we can refer to it as the head node. Okay, as far as that goes, no issue there. It's just we don't need to maintain the pointer. Okay, we could, and nothing's going to happen to us. There's no bad outcome for that, except for wasting space we don't need. And again, the reason we only need the tail is because tail next equals to head. You can't get from head to tail, but you can get from tail to head. Okay, so again, we've created a new node. We're going to do that just like we did before. We've put the value there. Okay, so what we want, there are two things that we have to deal with. Okay, we have to put this new node to the head. Okay, so again, head, just so we're clear, head is not a thing, okay, for this particular linked list, but tail next is. Those are synonymous. Okay, so the first thing I have to do here, before I move anything else, okay, although I don't think it matters in this case, I'm going to connect. Okay, so let me go here. Okay. And I want to, why can't I change the color of that? I thought that was a thing. Huh. Don't know why I'm not seeing the color. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I have to connect that one first. That's the first thing. Okay. So to do that, what do I need in my code? Okay. So what I'm saying is that the new node next, okay, new node next, that's the arrow we just put in there, okay, is going to be equal to the head, the first element, right? But we can't say head, so instead we say tail next. Okay? That's the first thing we have to do. Okay? Now it's going to let me change the color. So that's the first thing we have to change. Okay? So we're still not quite there because we can get, oh, we can't get to the new head. This is going to be the new head. There's not going to be, there's no pointer there. See, there's no line. But I do have to get from tail back to this new node. Okay. To do that, I have to set tail next, which is this. I made it in three parts here, it seems like. It doesn't do curves very well. Okay. So I have to change that, which is tail next, because tail is a pointer. I have to change that to point to this node. Okay. Now we have our circular going again. Okay. So what does that mean? The arrow I just drew is tail next. Okay. It's going to be equal to new node. And that's it. We're done. Okay. These can't be, and I said the order didn't matter, but in this case, the order does matter because I can't set tail next to new node. If I would have set tail next to new node first, I would have lost the whole list except tail and new node. That's all I would have had. Okay. So we can't do that. Okay. Again, I'm going to copy this. Now I'm going to go back over to my code, and I'm now down in this bottom section. Okay, so we're no longer in the section where there's nothing in the node. So now we're here. Okay, so again, the things I'm going to do here, and I'm going to copy this over to see how they're different. Okay, so I've got that the new node next is equal tail node. That's exactly the same. I've got the tail next is equal to new node. That's exactly the same. Okay. But it's not the case that tail is equal to the new node. Okay. In this case, we're not updating the tail at all. Okay. It's weird that we were on the other one. I wonder if that one's correct. I wonder if I tested that one. Maybe we'll find out when we test them. Okay. So this is our whole thing here. Okay. So we've got our insert front with the int value. Remember, our list here is only integers. Okay, and we're going to implement at the front of the circular list. We're going to create our node type pointer. New node is equal to new node type. Okay. Um, I don't know that we need the new keyword here. It confuses me. Sometimes you do, sometimes you. This works. It's okay. So I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so it's fine. I think you don't need to say that. In fact, let's not. Let's try it and see. And you don't need to say it because you're going to set it equal to. No, no, you're not. Okay. Maybe you need that. I don't know. I put it, it works. There we go. That's what it doesn't complain. Okay, so then we've got our the new node data equals value, okay, that we send into the function. And then we can say if the tail is equal to null pointer, it's empty. So we're going to set the tail equal to the new node, and we're going to set the tail next equal to the new node. Okay. I don't have to set the new node next because it's now tail. So again, we have to go in this order. Okay. Else, I've got something already there. I have to set the new node next equal to tail next, which is head. And then I set the new head or head tail next to new node. Okay. And then that should do it. Okay. We should be good. Let's see. Let me compile it, see if it works. Nothing there. Remove my GCH. Why is there a random parenthesis there? Don't know. GCH star, just because we don't need them. Um, that's odd that there's not any there. Okay, that's fine. It should have created one when I did that. So maybe I've got something wrong with that. Doesn't matter. Um, so from that, I want to take a look. Let's just do a new test. We'll do test circle CPP. Okay. So this one we have to include our IO stream as always. That's not capitalized. Okay. We also have to include our circular linked list.h. I don't think I put a capital in there. Okay, then are using namespace standard, orient main, or return 0. Okay, I should be able, I think circular linked list is capitalized. Okay, let's go ahead and compile that and see. Doesn't like something. Oh, because I've gotten two of those. It didn't complain about anything else, so I think that must have been the case. So let me get rid of that one. Thought that was a warning, not anything else. Okay, so once I have it, let's go ahead and do list dot insert front 5 and list dot insert front 10. Okay, so then when we do our list dot display, it should do a 10 and then a 5. Okay, see if we got that. If we've done something dumb, which we all do from time to time, seems okay. There's a 10 and a 5. Okay, so that works. Okay, while we're at it, just so I don't lead you astray, let me go ahead and do another insert to make sure the insert really works. Looked like it was a little bit weird. So let's do an insert. Let's say a 30 and an insert 40. Okay. So that should be, since that inserts it back, this should be a 10, 5, 30, 40. See if that's what it does. 10, 5, 30, 40. Yep. So that must work. Okay. So that's it. That's added that function. So if you're having trouble, hopefully you'll watch this video and you'll go through and go from the drawings to the code, and that's the only way you can keep things straight. Okay? If you have more questions, make sure, as always, that you let me know.